Cheers.
Thank you.
One of the major problems that I'm actually dealing with at the moment, I have several examples, is greenbelt land that's going over to housing. Nearly every piece of greenbelt land that the government is insisting on being used for housing has got badger sets on it. The rules were very, very tough, and they seem to have got somewhat softened by Natural England now. The instances that I've had this last few weeks, basically Natural England said, right, there's a couple of sets in the middle of the proposed development, we'll put a big fence around them with a one-way gate on, the badgers will come out and they won't get back in, after a few months you can flatten the set. And that will be happening all over the country. So it was a carrot dangled in front of the farmers' noses. They've been told lies by the government, lie after lie. We want to eradicate bovine TB. We're not here just because badgers are cuddly animals. We want to see an end to bovine TB. We don't want to see cattle slaughtered. We don't want to see any slaughtering whatsoever. But spending that money, millions of pounds on killing just half a dozen badgers that are actually liable to pass over TB is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. That money could do with being used for developing vaccines, so we can actually vaccinate cattle. There's a lot of ways around that EU laws won't accept at the moment. There is absolutely no reason to slaughter badgers. Determined to do this walk from start to finish, and she did. And she did. She was determined, and she did it. Very, very well done. And she's going to tell you now one of the reasons why she was so determined to do that walk. Here you are, Emma.
My name is Emma Minnick. I'm a wildlife sculptor, and I also run a badger vaccination group in Devon. Last summer, a lot of our members went to Somerset and did a lot of set surveying there before the cull started. And we found that roughly 1 in 4 farmers were already taking the law into their own hands and killing their badgers before the culls even started. As a result of that, and also of our experiences in the badger cull zones, I've written a report about the badger culls, which you can find on the TBVAC website, which is tbvac.weebly.co.uk. And you'll also find on there a crime spotters sheet, and that is all about ways of spotting, reporting badger crimes or crimes against badgers. And this is entirely based on my own mistakes for not knowing exactly how to do things. What we've discovered is that the law will do everything in its power not to bring a prosecution, so you've got to report things in the right way to the right people. And if you go to the TBVAC website, you'll see this crime spotters sheet. It shows you what to look out for, who to report it to, and how to report it, very crucially. And it's got a cut out and keep list of phone numbers you can keep in your wallet. Badgers across this country desperately need badger defenders. They need people like you who walk a regular route. Maybe you go walking generally, or you have a dog that you walk every day. We need people like you to look out for the wildlife in your area and to defend your patch of Eden. I see that as my rent for being on this planet, as Alice Walker once put it. I think that says it all. Activism is the rent I pay for being on this beautiful planet. Anyway, I was determined to finish the Great Badger Trail. Because I was the first person to put her hand up and say, yes, that's brilliant, I'll do that. I got landed with the job of leading the walk, which was something I didn't ask for, but I was prepared to embrace it. So I want to say a massive thank you to Julie Buxton, who came up with this brilliant idea that had me pogoing around the room with glee. Well done, Julie. At times we thought it couldn't be done, but we did it. I also want to thank all of the walkers and all of the helpers. You've been amazing. And especially people who we've never met before that just stepped in at the last minute and did amazing things. People like Julia, for instance, who brought us a vegan banquet, spread out beautifully, displayed on a purple tablecloth on her bed inside a van on a dual carriageway in a lay-by. It was fantastic. Beautiful to look at. She was just amazing. That's just one of many people who've done amazing things for us on this trip. The third lot of people I'd like to thank is in fact the Quakers. Now most of you probably won't know much about the Quakers, but they have a strong ethos of social activism and also of hospitality, and of people travelling from place to place. So the Friends Meeting Houses, which is what the Quakers organisations are called, or buildings are called, they actually put us up out of 6 out of the 9 nights that we stayed over. So a huge thank you to the Quakers, but not needing to have Finally, I want to thank somebody who was surprised to hear me say this. Okay, so hold your breath because I will explain. I want to thank David Cameron and Owen Patterson for recruiting so magnificently for the League Against Cruel Sports, the Hunt Saboteurs Association, and for the Green Party. Hunt followers and have hunting friends, and given that this badger cull is all about winning votes from the Countryside Alliance and has absolutely nothing to do with bovine TB, I hope their hunting chums are really delighted with the fact that the numbers of members of League Against Cruel Sports and the Hunt Saboteurs Association have more than doubled in the last year. Have forced middle-aged people like me off the fence. I've been meaning to join the Hunt Saboteurs Association, the League Against Cruel Sports and the Green Party for the last 30 years. I finally got around to it thanks to this ridiculous, politically motivated, unjustifiable, inhumane, financially ruinous badger cull. Finally, I want to squash a few myths. Owen Patterson would have us believe that badgers are a wildlife reservoir, quote unquote. They are not. They are an oversoul. Absolutely everything catches bovine TB. It's not just badgers. Badgers are actually fairly low on the list when you consider that some of the highest incidences of bovine TB outside of cattle is actually in pigs and cats. We must not keep repeating this myth because it makes it a fact and it is not. We know that at least 6 badgers in the Somerset badger cull zone were tested for bovine TB that were rescued during the time of the badger cull. All 6 of them were clear of bovine TB. We also know that some of the farmers who took part in the badger cull asked for their badgers that were shot on their land to be tested for bovine TB. The fact that no figures have come out suggests that they were all clear. Another important thing to remember is that all of the badger culls were actually in a TB hotspot. On Somerset, you can walk for 10 miles and not see a single cow. In Gloucestershire, most of the badger cull was actually in the area of the Forest of Dean, and the reason it's called the Forest is because it's got 8 million trees. There is a limit to how many cows you can fit in an area of land with 8 million trees jostling for space. Neither were TB hotspots. The reason they were were chosen is because both had massive shooting estates in the middle of both of them. This has never been about bovine TV. That is just a red herring. Finally, can I also squash another myth about badger vaccination? I'm saying this as somebody who heads a badger vaccination group in Devon. Vaccinating badgers will make no difference to bovine TB in cattle, but it will make a difference to those badgers. It will protect them from bovine TB, from a dairy industry out of control. That's why I support badger vaccination, to protect our badgers, not to prevent bovine TB in cattle, because there are 101 ways you can do that. If you have a look at the TBVAC website, that's tbvac.weebly.co.uk, you will find 20 ways of preventing bovine TB in cattle without killing wildlife. Please share that with farming neighbours. Try and educate them. There are so many ways that this could be tackled and we are not doing in this country. People often ask me, how comes we've got a problem with bovine TB in this country and they don't have in Europe? Well, the simple answer is, we have the NFU and they do not. In Europe, they see this as an environmental disease because it can live in the soil for up to 2 years. In most parts of Europe, if they find TB in a herd, that's with a skin test, they don't remove those reactor cows, they remove the whole herd. Because that's what the skin test was supposed all along to do. It's just an indication of TB in a herd, not in an individual cow, and that's one of the ways that we are misusing that skin test, which has a 20% failure rate in this country. In most parts of Europe, if they remove cattle that have got TB, they do not allow grazing on that land for 2 years. In Germany, they take away the top metre of topsoil because they recognise that TB is in the soil. The one area of research that needs doing is not how gassing badgers might or might not work. What needs to be done is researching bovine TB in land-based invertebrates, because so far as I've seen, nobody has done that research. Given that badgers eat 50% of their diet is roughly earthworms, it's no wonder that they get bovine TB from TB-infected land. We've got to change the parameter of these arguments and stop sliding accidentally into the kind of language that Owen Paterson would have us believe, because it helps to perpetuate these myths. Thank you all for turning up. You've been absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how lovely it was to have such an amazing reception committee. I certainly moved quite a lot because it was just so emotional. You were just lovely. It has been quite a challenge. We've had certainly dramas and occasional catastrophes every single day along the way. My feet are unspeakable. Some of you have seen the pictures, but believe me, since then they've gotten much worse. I'm just amazed that we got through it, because at times it didn't look like we would. When I started training, I did start training for this 2 months before the Great Badger Trail started. I couldn't do more than 2 miles without feeling like I've been beaten up, because I've got fibromyalgia, which is like ME with extras. So I'm just astonished that I've walked 130 miles, and I'm just astonished that so many of the other members did too. And it just shows how bloody-minded and committed we all are, which is a skill and a talent we will need in bucket loads in the months to come. Save our budget!